It's time for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It's time for The Game on ESPN 1400. For the next 2 hours, we'll get an in-depth look at local sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula and Algoma region, and hear from the coaches and players involved in the game. We'll also analyze the college and pro sports scene across the region and dive into the biggest national stories. Now, let's get to the game and join your host, Scott Nason.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to The Game on ESPN 1400, also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. As the man said, my name is Scott Nason, broadcasting from the studios of ESPN 1400 on 3 Mile Road on this beautiful fall-like Monday, October 7th, 2019. The Game, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. We broadcast every Monday night here on ESPN Radio, covering the world of sports and the week that was in sports. And we got a lot to cover. We'll be joined by a special guest around 6:15. Herb Maloney, the head coach of the Soo High Junior Varsity Football Program. He's also involved in youth football in Sault Ste. Marie. And then coming up in hour 2, we'll be joined by Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, who will get us up to date on what's going on in the Detroit sports scene. Butch was at Joe Louis Arena last night for the Wings' exciting home opener over the Dallas Stars. And we'll also be joined by EJ Russell, joining us from Escanaba, Michigan for our roundtable. We have lots of sports to cover, but we wanted to mention a couple events going on still tonight and later on this month at the Elks Lodge. The Soo Eagles are holding their Burger Bash as we speak. That Burger Bash will be going on till around 7 o'clock tonight. So if you don't have any dinner plans and want to go meet some of the players, coaches, or they're all there actually tonight, head on down to the Elks. That's going until 7 o'clock. They do have takeout available as well. And coming up on Monday, October 28th from 4 to 7 p.m., also at the Elks Lodge in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, our colleague and good friend John Bell we're having a Burger Bash for Johnny. They will have burgers and sides and dessert. Adults, $10. Children 12 and under, just $5. You can get your tickets and in advance right here at the radio station. You can also get takeouts that night. We will be having a silent auction, 50-50 donations, and more. If you want more information, call us here during normal business hours at 632-2231. Well, let's start out recapping a very busy week in sports with high school football. The Soo High Blue Devil football team, well, they saw their 3-game winning streak end on Friday night in Gladstone in a game you heard right here on 1230 WSO with Dave Watson, as the Blue Devils fell to Gladstone on homecoming night in Gladstone by the score of 20-7. Jack Swan would score the only touchdown for the Blue Devils late. We're hoping to win this one and potentially clinch a playoff spot at home on Friday. Well, they'll be at home on Friday, but they won't be able to officially clinch a playoff spot, but it's a game they need, as they will be taking on Rogers City Friday night in the home finale. Dave will have the call of that one around 6:40 here on on our sister station, 1230 WSOO. St. Ignace, they kept their playoff hopes alive in 11-player football on Friday night as they defeated East Jordan by the score of 32-12. So the Saints now 3-3 on the season. They're pretty much going to have to win out if they're going to make the playoffs. They will be at Indian River Inland Lakes on Friday. Busy weekend in the EUP in 8-player football, 4 games all in the area. In Engadine, the Engadine Eagles improved to 5-1 on the season, and they're one step closer to the playoffs as they destroyed Brimley by the score of 66-8 in the Weather Bowl. The Eagles have now beaten the Bays 15 straight times as Brimley falls to 4-2 on the season, and they're finding life quite difficult without their standout junior, Mason Harris. Harris got hurt a couple weeks ago in that game in Cedarville, and boy, he hurts the Bays not being out there, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. So Brimley right now, their playoff lives a little more difficult than a couple weeks ago. They fall to 4-2. And Engadine, as I mentioned, just one win away from officially clinching a spot in 8-player football. They'll be in Division 2 8-player football now has 2 divisions. Brimley, if they make the playoffs, they'll be in Division 1. They're the only EUP team that will be in Division 1. The rest of them will be in Division 2. And they will, I should say, Engadine, they're going to host Rapid River on Thursday night, a rare Thursday night game in October, while the Bays, a must-win pretty much. They will be at Superior Central Saturday afternoon. Rudyard Bulldogs, they kept their playoff hopes alive on Friday night at home, homecoming in Rudyard, as they improved to 3-3 on the season as they shut out Superior Central by the score of 46-0. Rudyard's Louis Mayer, he had a monster day on the ground, 223 yards rushing, 18 carries, and a pair of touchdowns. Austin Warner also had a touchdown and 50 yards rushing, while sophomore quarterback E.J. Suggett, he had a good day as well, touchdown on the ground and in the air. Rudyard, they're going to be at Cedarville this weekend, this Friday night, a game that has major playoff implications. In a game you heard on our sister station, Oldies 93 with Matt Pocket, the Pickford Panthers, well, they improved to 5-1 on the season. Took them a little bit to get going, but boy, once they got going, they steamrolled over Cedarville by the score of 64-20 to improve to 5-1 on the season. Pickford had 544 yards of offense, including 432 on the ground. As Stephen Lamoth, he carried the ball 12 times, 176 yards and a touchdown, while quarterback Jimmy Story, he had 149 yards rushing on just 12 attempts and 3 touchdowns. The Panthers have now beaten Cedarville 4 straight games. They've outscored them 203-50 in those 4 games. As I mentioned, they are 5-1, and they will be at Stevenson, while Cedarville 4-2. They will host the Rudyard Bulldogs. That game you can hear on Oldies 93 with Matt Pocket. North Dickinson and Newberry played on Saturday, as the Newberry Indians, they keep their playoff hopes alive, improving to 4-2 on the season as they defeat North Dickinson by the score of 32-24. So Newberry 4-2. They're going to travel to Powers North Central on Saturday afternoon. Interesting note from downstate Friday night, the Bel Air, they announced that they canceled and forfeited their scheduled Friday night game against Gaylord St. Mary's due to inappropriate behaviors, including bullying of one or more teammates. Bel Air Middle School principal and superintendent wrote in a press release issued by the school district that coaches worked with administrators to address the issue once they were aware of it. And MI Sports Now, they reached out to Bel Air Public Schools for comment. As of Friday, they didn't have any comments. So I thought that was kind of interesting. A game that was canceled due to bullying. Sioux Ontario High School football on Thursday night. The St. Mary's Knights edged out Superior Heights by the score of 19-18. And Nick Pagnana had 2 touchdown passes, one to Chuck Webb and one to Maritime Colicchio for St. Mary's. This game wraps up the regular season for the Knights, who are 2-2 on the season. They will head into semifinal action off a bye week against Superior Heights, while the Steelhawks, they wrap up the regular season this upcoming weekend against Cora, as Cora enters that game at 3-0, while the Steelhawks are 0-3. So the Steelhawks and Knights, they're going to meet to open the playoffs on October 18th, with the winner facing Cora in the following week. Junior football action over in Sioux, Ontario Thursday night. It was all Superior Heights as they move to 4-0 on the season, as they crush St. Mary's by the score of 53-6. Dean Brenton, he had 3 touchdowns for Superior Heights. High school volleyball here over the week. Sioux High, well, they had a very busy week, as Sioux High senior setter Melina Robertson, she broke the school career assist record on Tuesday night, this past Tuesday night, in Sioux High's 3-0 volleyball victory over Boyne City. Robertson dished out 40 assists and 11 digs. The Blue Devils win over the Ramblers. Julia Beaumont, she had 12 kills, 14 digs to go along with 5 blocks, and Jordan Haller had 15 kills and 7 digs for the Blue Devils. The Blue Devils competed in a quad event, in Petoskey on Monday, as they defeat Inland Lakes. Kingsley would knock off the Sioux, and Petoskey would also beat the Sioux in that one. Rudyard this past Tuesday, the state's 7th-ranked team in Division 4, well, they swept past Detour by a 3-0 count. Tori Tremblay and Chelsea Molina set up the Bulldog hitters, dishing out 16 and 11 assists respectively. Sarah Beelan had 18 digs, 7 aces, and 4 kills for Rudyard on Tuesday. One other volleyball matchup on Tuesday night. Pickford, they defeated Engadine by a 3-0 count. Lizzie Story, she had 17 assists and 10 digs, 4 kills, and 2 aces for the Panthers, while Darcy Bennon had 7 kills and 1 block, and Kennedy Guild had 8 digs, 5 kills, and 2 aces. Thursday night, 3 matches to report. Brimley, they downed Engadine by a 3-1 count in EUP conference volleyball action. Tamissa Archambault, she had 12 kills, 8 digs, and 4 aces, while Lindsay Hill delivered 7 kills and 2 digs. Victoria Aikens had 7 kills, 5 digs, and 5 aces, all for the Brimley Bays. Pickford over Detour by a 3-0 count on Thursday. Darcy Bennon, she had 10 kills and 2 blocks for the Pickford Panthers. Lizzie Story finished with 10 assists, 7 kills, 6 digs, and 4 aces for the Panthers. And the big matchup of the night, of the week rally, of the week, really, I should say, Soo High. They kept their unbeaten Straits Area Conference record intact as they defeated Rudyard on Thursday night by a 3-0 count. Soo High will now be the number 1 seed in the league tournament, which is scheduled for Saturday, October 26th in Rudyard. Julia Beaumont, she had 13 kills and 9 digs for the Blue Devils, while Melina Robertson, she distributed 34 aces. That's a lot of assists. Oh, I'm getting all mixed up here. 11 digs. So many stats I can't keep up here, Herb. My guest is here, and he's probably wondering what the heck I'm even talking about right now. Brooklyn Besteman, she had 9 kills for Rudyard, while Nina Alpers, 7 for the Bulldogs. And in high school basketball over in Soo, Ontario, 1 game to report Tuesday night. Cora Colts, they defeated St. Mary's by the score of 29-28 in a defensive affair. Amy May had 13 points for Cora, while Gracie Sloss added 8. And the high school basketball will continue tomorrow night as St. Mary's will host White Pines and Superior Heights will host Cora in both junior and senior action. So those are your updated high school results. And one other note before we go to break and get to our guest in the next segment, the Michigan High School Athletic Association's girls basketball semifinals and finals could return to the Breslin Center as early as this season, with Michigan State hosting the event this winter and in future seasons when the Michigan State Spartans women's basketball team is not selected as an opening round host for the NCAA tournament. Confused? I'm a little bit too. Breslin hosted the girls basketball semifinals and finals from 2004 to 2006 and up until 2017. However, the potential for a conflict with the NCAA Division I women's basketball tournament has led the MHSAA to move the event the past 2 seasons. As we've seen it at Hope College, it's also been in other places, but it looks like during this initial 3-year contract beginning this winter, the Breslin Center will tentatively be the host for the MHSAA girls basketball semifinals and finals. If, beginning in 2021, the Spartans are seeded 4th or higher for the NCAA tournament and selected to host first and second rounds, then the finals will be played at the Reeds Fieldhouse University Arena on the campus of Western Michigan University. Hope College's DeVos Fieldhouse in Holland will serve as the alternate site if the Breslin is not available in 2020. So lots to unpack there. Basically what it says, if Michigan State's women's team is not one of the top 16 teams and hosting first and second rounds, then the girls basketball finals will be played there. If they are, then they won't. They'll either be played in Hope or Western. I like that the fact that it could go back to the Breslin, much like the guys. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Kind of leaves everybody in kind of a difficult situation there. But hey, I'm not a member of the MHSAA, thankfully. We're going to take a break here on the game. We come back, we're going to talk Soo High Junior Varsity football, also youth football in Sault Ste. Marie with Herb Maloney. He's joining us next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
Paul Thompson here with Gaylor Thompson Sales and Service, just off I-75 in Rudyard, inviting you to stop in and see the largest selection of equipment in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. To complement our full line of Mahindra tractors, we have trailers including goosenecks, dumps, cargoes, car haulers, and utility trailers. We also have a full line of lawn and garden equipment with Cub Cadet and Exmark. Over 50 mowers to choose from, a full line of parts, and we service what we sell. Looking for an outdoor wood or pellet furnace or parts? We stock water pumps, exchangers, spec supplies, and more. Also, check out our full line of Boss and Fisher snow and ice equipment. Here at Gaylor Thompson and Rudyard, we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to noon for your convenience. Just off I-75 in Rudyard, 30 minutes from the bridge. If you need it, we have it. Give us a call at 906-478-3026. Hope to see you here.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Mo at M&C Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? M&C Water Systems proudly distributes natural, artesian water for all your bottled water needs. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. M&C Water Systems delivers to all the local islands, too. Need a water filter? M&C has them. Need a softener? Drinking water system? Want to find out about reverse osmosis? Call Mo at M&C Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern Upper Peninsula for over 25 years.
You want more from a compact or utility tractor, and at Skinner's of Pickford, you'll find more. More of the newest Massey Ferguson tractors, offering more versatility, more durability, and more performance. Stop by today and find out how Massey Ferguson is expanding the possibilities of what a great tractor can be, and why a Massey Ferguson will be the last tractor you'll ever need. Come see the Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You wanted a small tractor with a mid-PTO for more versatility. Massey Ferguson responded by bringing back a versatile workhorse, the Massey Ferguson 1526 Compact Tractor, now available at Skinner's of Pickford. A tractor that can do more because it's made to handle more. As hardworking and no-nonsense as you are. See it today at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason back in studio and joined by our special guest tonight. He is no stranger to the game, as he has been on our show several times. His name is Herb Maloney. He is the head coach of the Soo High Junior Varsity Football Program, also the president, Herb, of the Soo Jr. Devils. You're active in it, director. You have many titles. You wear many hats. Thanks for coming in tonight on the game.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
Well, Herb, let's start from the junior varsity program and then work towards more the youth and the junior Devils. Let's talk about your season so far for the junior varsity program. Just give us a kind of a snapshot of where the program's at right now and how things have been going here. 2/3 into the season now?
Sure. Yeah. After 6 games, we haven't gotten any wins yet, but I've got a great group of young men playing football for me. They're working really hard. They're way closer than they think they are right now. And we traveled to Rogers City this week. We had a good day of practice today. We've had several weeks of practice where it's been very, very productive. Just trying to put everything together and get everything to click the right way. We're a pretty young team. We got a lot of freshmen, and we're playing a JV schedule. So, it's tough. We've got some teams that are sophomore heavy that we're playing against, so they've got the experience edge on us. But like I said, I've got a good group of young men. They're really, really playing their hearts out for me. I've got a great staff. I've got former player of mine, Jared Sawyers, is working with our offensive and defensive line. John Burke also working with the linebackers and the offensive line. And Mike Mariuza, former Sioux High alum.
Yes.
He's coaching defensive backs and split ends for me. So, I want to thank those guys for all the help they give me. We've got a few sophomores on the team. Emmett Fazeri's having a very good season right now. He runs the ball real well. And we've got some real great, outstanding freshmen that are coming along. Look forward to great things in the program. It's tough to be 0-6.
Sure.
But the development that we're getting right now is going to come to fruition at the varsity level. These boys are learning how to play tough, hard-nosed football, and I have great expectations for the program going forward.
Well, and that's one of the questions I wanted to pose to you first is, at a junior varsity level, it's not about wins and losses. It's developing players, to get on the varsity team. And that's where I think, at least in the way I look at, I've always looked at high school sports, it's not winning those junior varsity games. It's getting those players to buy into a system to get to the varsity level. Is it still that way in your opinion? And is that way with you and Coach Menard?
Absolutely. I look at the varsity right now with a 4-2 record. Many of the juniors that they have played for me as freshmen, and they were 0-8-1.
Yeah.
And felt like we weren't turning the page in the right direction. Last year we had a great season for a junior varsity level at 4-5. But we were pretty sophomore heavy, and those guys are up there now. And the sophomores that are up there now, they played for us last year. So they're used to the experience of having some wins, and they've developed in a way that got them ready for varsity football this year. So, and a great amount of the credit for the development of the program goes to, of course, head coach Scott Menard and Gordy Campbell, his defensive coordinator. And, with Matt Johnson and Brad Bovin helping out on the offensive side. Matt's a great offensive line coach, and Brad is a really good offensive mind. He helped me last year with offense, and, I think it's paying dividends for the program.
Yeah, and in a traditional junior varsity scenario, Herb, maybe in an ideal junior varsity scenario, you'd have that varsity quarterback playing junior varsity, and you've had a chance to see a lot of Jacob Davey and what he brings to that varsity program. There's a reason he's playing on the varsity, because he's good. Have you had a lot of chance to really work with him? Obviously, he's been on the varsity, but he's a sophomore. He technically could be playing JV, but obviously with this game, he's playing varsity.
Well, I had him for about 2 weeks last
right.
year. And at that point, I pretty much knew I was only going to have him for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because he is a very talented young man. More than anything else, what I would say about Jacob Davey is that he's really unflappable. He's a very steady young man. And a great credit goes out to the varsity coaches that have helped develop him in a way that's been able to put him in a position to be successful. At 5-4 last year, the varsity was real close to making the playoffs. And, I'm just happy to see that these things are coming to fruition at the varsity level, which is what everything in our program is pointing towards, is that apex of the varsity program. Because we certainly would like to be down at Ford Field eating rotten Thanksgiving dinners if we could, and I feel like we're headed in that direction as a program. Scott's got a solid staff. They know what they're doing, and they're putting guys in the right position to be successful. So, we're in constant contact with the varsity staff about how we're developing players and what we're developing, and making sure that we're tweaking things where they need to be tweaked. And, had a few guys get pulled up this year that, again, I had for a very short period of time. But, at some point, those guys have progressed to the point where they're not going to learn anything at junior varsity level anymore, and they need to go get varsity reps. So, and I'm real happy for those guys. It's always a little bit bittersweet for me to lose a guy that's so talented at my level. But then, again, it means I'm doing my job as a junior varsity coach to get them there. And, again, I am really I want everything to point towards that varsity level. I talk to my guys about that regularly, that everything points there. And, as the team's going here, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they secure a playoff berth. And then that gives additional guys, opportunities for reps at the varsity level, if for nothing else than to get those practice repetitions. That football is such a game of repetition that when you get good at it and the repetitions come, you start to see things. It starts to slow down and the kids really get refined at what they're doing. And so, with everything that's gone on, the success that the team's had this year, I am pleased with the direction of the program. And some of that begins with, Gordy Campbell has extended himself down to the junior Devils level the last couple of years. And
professional football player you got helping out. You don't get that much in this town.
Yeah, he's seen more football than I can forget. So, he's an invaluable asset to the program, and he works his tail off. He also has kids in his gym at Northside. Mm-hmm. And, that they work there. If any of you have seen that Netflix documentary about Louis Simmons, Gordy had that. It's not that, but it is a very successful program in getting young men to be stronger, better football players. And Gordy he's just invaluable to the program. I can't speak enough about that.
Herb Maloney joining us on the game as we near the bottom of the first hour. Herb, let's transition to the junior football Devils. My son, oldest son, whose birthday today. Happy birthday, Vance. His 13th birthday today. Shameless plug. He joined football just a few weeks ago. He never really played it. He tried it a little bit in 5th grade. It wasn't his thing, but he's grown. He's built. His confidence has grown, and he's been playing on the 8th grade junior Devils, who are at home this weekend. A nice victory there over Alpena. Your involvement with this junior Devils program, Herb, we've talked about it in previous years. Just give us a state of where that program is, which is 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I believe.
Well, and what we've done is we brought the flag program under the umbrella as well.
Right.
And we've got Coach Kipper Byron is organizing the flag football program. We've got 60 kids participating in that. And we're hoping always to get more. We'd love to double that.
Yeah.
And, through the hard work of all the people involved, including Kipper and his wife, Kelly, and a lot of the varsity players, including Kipper's son, Cole Byron, coaching a team, we've been able to make that free for the flag football players this year. And we want to continue that. We're going to be doing some different things to secure funding so that kids can play football at no cost. Because one of the things that I love about football is it parallels life so much. And that's part of why I got involved with the 7th and 8th grade program initially. And the 5th and 6th grade program came along with that. And I wanted to get the flag under that umbrella so that it's a seamless program from bottom all the way to the top, with everything pointing towards varsity football. So the 7th and 8th grade, they're doing quite well. They've got 2 wins on the season. They beat Sheboygan in a rematch, and then they beat Alpena this weekend. But they've got a great opportunity on Sunday. They'll be traveling to Marquette to play in what's called the Thunderdome games.
Yes, very excited about that.
We had to fill a weekend earlier in the season, and Marquette was able to invite us up there for a game. And to the credit of the coaches, Coach Cade, Coach Rio, and Coach Fisher, along with Coach Campbell, the Marquette program believes we run a class program top to bottom, was the information I got. And that pleases me to no end. That tells me a lot about the young men we have in the program, and that tells me a lot about the coaching staff we put together. We want young men to learn how to be better men through football. And so we're trying to teach them to do things the right way. And, we feel like it's well integrated now. We're running the same offense at the 7th and 8th grade level that we run at the JV level.
That's huge right there. Level. That's huge.
And just getting everybody on the same page makes life easier when I get a kid and he doesn't know the vocabulary that I'm using, it makes it hard to transition them from 7th and 8th grade football to JV football. I mean, there's a leap there with speed. And so having fewer variables in that makes that transition a little easier for the kids. And our 5th and 6th grade program they had 4 games this year. They also got invited to the Thunderdome games, and we'll be traveling up there on Sunday the 13th for a game against one of the Marquette teams. And, I'm really looking forward to that. They only had the opportunity to play Rudyard this year, and it transitioned between 11 and 9-man football all season.
Yep.
But Coach Mike Morris has done a great job with that group. Initially, we didn't have terrible large number of kids out, somewhere in the 20 range. And so we made the decision at the beginning of the season not to split up into 2 teams. Well, as time went on, we garnered more kids, and we were up over 30 at one point. So even though we had that number, it feels nice. It's a very Mike does such a great job making it a family affair. Everybody feels like a part of the group, and the kids are just excited. I have the opportunity to work over at the middle school this year, and it's nice to see the kids excited, wearing their jerseys down the hall
My
on
son's
Fridays.
thrilled with it. He loves it.
And, I think they're having a ton of fun, which is part of the equation. We want the kids to have fun and learn football at the same time so that more fun comes up the road. We're real happy with where our flag program, Kipper Byron has done such a great job. For those of you that know Coach Kipper, he is enthusiastic as the day is long.
Yeah.
And, his positive enthusiasm is something that we couldn't purchase if we wanted. So he brings something to flag football that I haven't felt around it in the last few years. And so I'm very, very pleased to have him be part of that. Like I said, we want to continue to expand the program as much as we can. We would love for all those young guys who are hockey players to come try football. And, I'm a firm believer that multi-sport athletes are better athletes. They develop more sense of community. They take better care of their grades in school, as many MHSAA ads will tell you.
Yep.
And I think that it broadens their horizons, where they make friends they would not normally have made. And, I see kids in school that are really trying hard to change the way they approach school because they're enjoying football so much. So, I have been fortunate enough to be involved with this. I want to give a shameless plug out to my wife, soon to be 25 years of marriage.
Didn't know you were that old.
Yeah. But she deserves all the credit in the world. She lets me give of my time very freely for the football program, and always has.
Yeah.
When I first started coaching with my brother out in Rudyard several years ago, there came a time where she said, "You better get up there because you're going to be miserable if you're not." So June Maloney deserves a great amount of credit for any of the success that I've had as a football coach. And so I want to thank her for that publicly. But at the end of the day, the kids, they've all been great. I've never had a kid that I didn't want to help every way I could in life, even if they weren't the greatest football player in the world. To me, I learned an awful lot from playing high school football. I was not very big. I wasn't the fastest guy. I wasn't the strongest guy. But what I was able to accomplish was through being part of a great group of guys and through a lot of people. My dad was a huge influence on that for me. And so that's a big connection for me. I have 3 girls, so I don't have any sons to pass football on to in the same way my dad passed it to me. So in some small way, I feel like this is me passing it to some young men that could maybe use a little help in that regard. I want to thank also Tracy Menard. She has, and the other moms, Mrs. Fazeri and a few other moms.
Like
and if I've forgotten your name, I apologize right now.
I feel like you're getting a Golden Globe right now. You're thanking everyone. I'm waiting for the music to.
We have a hot meal after every game because of these mothers.
Well said, yeah, and
so,
well deserved.
So it really does take a community to make the program go, and with Scott's support, it's been very, very easy to do for me. It's a passion of mine, but it's easy to love when you have the support of the community the way that we do.
Herb Maloney joining us on the game. Herb, I love having you on because I asked 4 questions. You fill 20 minutes. Well done, sir. Thank you for coming in, and best of luck this season. I'll be seeing you more than likely Sunday up in Marquette. And a big credit, to the volunteers and the coaches. It takes a lot of people to run a program, and you got a lot of good volunteers for this one. And so want to thank them. Want to thank you and your wife, June. And thanks for coming in on the game.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's going to do it for this segment. We come back. We have a lot more to cover in the world of local sports. We're going to look at the junior hockey action going on, Laker athletics, and more. You're listening to The Game on ESPN 1400.
Looking for the lowest prices and the best deals on quality used cars, trucks, or SUVs? Look no further than Rodenroth Motors. We have the largest selection of quality pre-owned certified vehicles ever, all priced below book, and all come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. It's our way of standing behind what we sell and guaranteeing you that you'll get the highest quality pre-owned vehicle only at Rodenroth Motors. Stop in and check out our largest selection ever, with prices starting at $49.95. I'm sure we'll have something for you. Don't forget to look for the hang tag specials. These units are clearly priced at or near dealer cost. Just another way we can save you even more money. Come see why all roads lead to Rodenroth Motors for Chevy, Buick, and GMC, the #1 volume dealer in the Eastern UP, at the corner of 3 Mile and Mackinac Trail in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. Chevy, find new roads.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Life is busy. Get out and enjoy the fun, whether that means a block party with the neighborhood or tailgating with the gang. The Honda EU 2200i has you covered. Besides being lightweight and durable, Honda portable generators are extremely quiet and can run for hours and hours. The Honda EU 2200i now has 200 watts more power with models up to 4,400 watts. You'll love the fuel efficiency and reliability of your new Honda generator. Go to Honda.com or, better yet, visit Leach Sports Center on the I-75 Business Spur and learn firsthand all the ways you can put a Honda generator to work for you. Honda, it's power you can trust.
Hello, my name is Dana Mansfield, and I'm the mastectomy fitter at Arfstrom Medical Equipment and Supplies. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. American Breast Care has new breast form designs, which we now carry. Not only are all of ABC's breast forms made in the USA, but ABC is also dedicated to helping women lead fuller lives after breast cancer surgery.
Arfstrom Medical Equipment and Supplies is a part of your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy with a caring, compassionate mastectomy fitter dedicated to helping you celebrate life. ABC offers a full line of breast forms and bras, ensuring you receive the perfect style and fit for you. For more information about American Breast Care products, call Dana at 906-632-1923 or stop in at Arfstrom Medical Equipment and Supplies at the corner of Ashman and Spur Street, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Arfstrom Medical Equipment and Supplies, where your health is our business. ACHC accredited. And remember Arfstrom Pharmacy for your prescription medications. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
When your car breaks down, it's always a hassle. It seems you're always late for a meeting, or it's at night, or in the middle of nowhere. Then, to add insult to injury, you're stuck with a bill for waking up some poor towing company employee to tow you and your ride back to a repair shop. Cha-ching! Dean Garlinghouse and Farm Bureau Insurance can't keep your car from breaking down, but they can take some of the sting out of the whole thing. With roadside emergency service, that's the best in the business. Farm Bureau's signature service says, you need a tow? Lock yourself out of your car? Run out of gas? Need help changing a tire? Call the wrecker, sign the invoice, and Farm Bureau picks up the tab. Up to $300 per occurrence. Now, don't expect Dean to come out and do it. He's a whiz with coverage, but he's kind of clumsy with a wrench. Talk with Dean and the folks at Farm Bureau Insurance today at the corner of 8th and Ashman in the Soo. Or give Dean a call at 635-7250. From Michigan's Insurance Company, insuring Michigan's autos, homes, farms, and businesses. Dean Garlinghouse at Farm Bureau Insurance.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason back with you as we have about 20 minutes in the first hour. I want to thank our guest, Herb Maloney from the Soo High Blue Devil Junior Varsity Football Program and the Soo Jr. Devils. Always love having Herb on. He can talk and talk. He is a wealth of football knowledge, and he's a hard worker as well. So I want to thank him for coming in. Coming up at the top of the second hour, we'll be talking to Butch Davis from Butch On Sports. He'll give us an update on everything going on in the world of Detroit sports, and we'll be joined by EJ Russell for our second hour roundtable. We have a lot of local sports to cover in a little bit of time, so let's get right to it, starting with the Soo Eagles and Soo Thunderbirds in a game you heard Friday night right here on ESPN 1400. It was a very spirited affair, 820 fans packing the Puller. And it was the Soo Eagles with a 4-3 shootout victory over the Soo Thunderbirds. Blake Vaca and Tommy Buies both had shootout goals for the Eagles, as the Eagles at that point improved to 3-3-1-1 on the season. Very exciting game. It was one of those games, a rough and tumble affair. Really what you expect when the Soo Eagles and Soo Thunderbirds take on each other. And there was no lack of hitting. We had a good fight. And just lots of debauchery on the ice, as I like to say. Was a lot of fun and a big win for the Eagles. And the Thunderbirds was their only game this weekend, and they're struggling right now. We're not used to the Thunderbirds being 3-6-1-2 or whatever they are right now. So the Soo Eagles got a big victory on Friday night, and they would continue on Saturday night at Elliott Lake, a team still searching for their first win. And the Eagles got out to a big lead and hung on for a 6-5 victory over Elliott Lake. So the Eagles right now 4-3-1-1 as they are making the move up the standings. And the Eagles, they're going to make a long trip up north. Starting on Thursday night, they will take on the Hearst Lumberjacks, and then Friday night at Timmins and Saturday at Cochrane. While the Soo Thunderbirds, they're looking to break their losing streak Thursday night as they will take on first place Blind River. They will also host Blind River on Friday and be home to Espanola on Saturday. And the rankings in the Canadian Junior Hockey League came out just today. And there are 3 teams ranked out of the NOJHL. The highest ranked team, the Powassan Voodoos, they moved all the way up to number 6. In the top 20 rankings. The Pectin V's out of the British Columbia Hockey League, the top team in Canada. Timmins Rock, they weren't ranked last week. They go all the way up to 14th. And Blind River, they are stationary at 16. So those the cream of the crop, at least according to the rankings. Soo Greyhounds in action this weekend at home after a 4-0 start. A tough couple nights for the Soo Greyhounds, or I should say a couple days, as one of those games was during the day. Starting on Saturday night, the Soo Greyhounds lost to the Sudbury Wolves by the score of 4-3. Sudbury would score 4 goals in the first period and hang on. Jaden Pekka had a pair of goals for the Hounds, while Ryan O'Rourke, he scored the other goal, and Christian Propp would give up 4 goals on 11 shots. He was replaced by Ethan Taylor in the first period, and it would make 11 saves. Then yesterday afternoon at the Gardens, another 4-3 loss for the Soo Greyhounds, this one to the Peterborough Petes. Joe Carroll, Jaden Pekka, and Rory Cairns all had goals for the Hounds, while Ethan Taylor made 23 saves. So the Hounds 4-2 on the season. They're going to travel to Guelph on Friday night at 7:30 and Owen Sound on Saturday. You can hear both those games on our sister station, Rock 101, with Jerry Liscombe Jr. Soo Indians in action this weekend. A successful weekend for the Indians The opening game of the Motor City Showcase down in Detroit, the Indians would fall by the score of 3-2, but they would bounce back nicely in the next two games as they would take on Team Indiana on Saturday, win that game by the score of 5-0. Logan Raphael got the shutout in net for the Indians. And then on Saturday, the Indians would take on the yesterday they would take on the Sylvania North Stars, and the Indians would win by the score of 3-2. Overtime winning goal by Kevin Bostwick in that one. So the Indians 9-5-0 on the season, and they'll be at home this weekend as they will take on Lake Forest Prep Academy. Those games at the Taffy Able Arena, Saturday at 3 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. And the Soo Jr. Greyhounds, they remain unbeaten on the season as they went up north, and after a 3-game sweep against Timmins this past weekend, they would win 3 more games over this past weekend. They would defeat Timmins by the score of 5-3. On Saturday night, they would win over Timmins by the score of 8-3. And Friday, they took on New Liskard and would win that one by the score of 8-4. So the Junior Greyhounds 6-0 to start the season, and they will return to action on Friday at the John Rhodes Community Center. They have a 2-game weekend set with the Kapuskasing Flyers at the John Rhodes Community Center. Laker hockey this weekend, successful start to the year as they would win on Saturday night in their opener at Taffy Able Arena by the score of 6-2. And then the Lakers would win yesterday afternoon. Had a chance to see that game in person. Got to give a lot of credit to our own Matt Pocket, of course. If you go to the Laker games, you'll hear him on the PA. I thought he did a really good job both nights, but on Sunday being there, the Lakers trying some different things. They got some new lighting when they score goals. They have some LED lights. I like it. I think they're trying to spice things up there, and a credit to the athletic department for making some changes as far as, the visuals and such. Well, the Lakers would win yesterday afternoon by the score of 4-3. It was a tough one there. The Lakers had to get 2 goals in the third period as Will Rydell would score in the third period. Colin Sackerman would also score the game-winning goal. 4-3, the Lakers win. So they start the season successfully 2-0, and they will be at home this weekend. Great Lake State weekend at the Taffy Able Arena, and a very great team coming in to take them in Denver, number 2 in the country. I believe it's the first time the Pioneers have ever played here in Sault Ste. Marie. Friday night, Saturday night, you can hear both games on our sister station, Yes FM, with Bill Crawford. You can hear more about junior hockey and college hockey tomorrow night on ESPN 1400, starting at 5 o'clock. The Hockey North Show with Randy Russin covers the NLJHL, OHL, Great North Midget League, Sioux Indies. He covers it all. That's from 5 to 6. And then the Laker Hockey Show with Bill Crawford and head coach Damon Witten. Also Tuesday night right here on ESPN 1400, starting at 6. We're going to take our final break in hour 1. We come back. We have more college sports to cover. Lakers in action in tennis, volleyball. We also have Algoma U, Sioux College, and more. That's coming up next on The Game here on ESPN 1400.
O'Connor's Chrysler Dodge Truck and Jeep in Pickford is your full-service dealership, servicing Pickford and the surrounding areas with pride for more than 50 years. O'Connor's top-notch body shop includes a state-of-the-art frame straightener. O'Connor's is also a proud supporter of community events. Its sales team has the experience to know which model is right for each customer. And with financing available to back your purchase, you can drive away today in your dream vehicle. Local people, local pride. Stop in today on M129 at O'Connor's.
Well, it's now officially fall, and if you'd like to kill 2 birds with 1 stone... Wait, that was just an expression. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can make some extra money by cleaning up around your home, garage, and yard. Gather your scrap metal and bring it to Reed Metals. Reed Metals pays $50 for a full, large General Motors catalytic converter and $6 per average car battery and $12 per semi-battery. Bring in scrap vehicles or any other recyclable metals, and they'll print you a check. Reed Metals, the honest, one-stop metal recycling business. Visit reedmetals.com or call Call 906-632-0018. Reed Metals, 13 miles south of the Soo on Mackinac Trail. Reed Metals is only minutes away from helping you make money before the summer ends. No birds were harmed during this production, nor were any actual stones thrown.
Paul Thompson here with Gaylor Thompson Sales and Service, just off I-75 in Rudyard, inviting you to stop in and see the largest selection of equipment in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. To complement our full line of Mahindra tractors, we have trailers including goosenecks, dumps, cargoes, car haulers, and utility trailers. We also have a full line of lawn and garden equipment with Cub Cadet and X-Mark. Over 50 mowers to choose from, a full line of parts, and we service what we sell. Looking for an outdoor wood or pellet furnace or parts? We stock water pumps, exchangers, PEX supplies, and more. Also, check out our full line of Boss and Fisher snow and ice equipment. Here at Gaylor Thompson and Rudyard, we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to noon for your convenience. Just off I-75 in Rudyard, 30 minutes from the bridge. If you need it, we have it. Give us a call at 906-478-3026. Hope to see you here.
Life is busy. Get out and enjoy the fun, whether that means a block party with the neighborhood or tailgating with the gang. The Honda EU 2200i has you covered. Besides being lightweight and durable, Honda portable generators are extremely quiet and can run for hours and hours. The Honda EU 2200i now has 200 watts more power with models up to 4400 watts. You'll love the fuel efficiency and reliability of your new Honda generator. Go to Honda.com or, better yet, visit Leak Sports Center on the I-75 Business Spur and learn firsthand all the ways you can put a Honda generator to work for you. Honda, it's power you can trust.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason continuing the local sports wrap-up in Hour 1. We'll be joined at the top of the second hour by Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, who will get us up to date on what's going on in Detroit. Also, EJ Russell joining us in hour number 2 for the roundtable. Let's continue with more college hockey. Sioux College in action at Adrian College this weekend. And, well, they moved up from Division III to Division II, and it hasn't really had too much effect on them. They keep on winning as they won over the weekend, 6-4 on Saturday, 6-1 on Sunday. And so Sioux College 6-0 on the season, and they will be at Marion College of Wisconsin Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Busy weekend for Laker volleyball. Busy week, I should say, last week. The Lakers were in action Tuesday night at the Bud Cooper Gymnasium against Saginaw Valley State and would fall to the Cardinals by a 3-0 count. The Lakers would also be in action over the weekend on the road. They were at Ashland on Saturday, would lose that one by a 3-0 count. Rather, that was Friday. And then on Saturday, they would fall at Wayne State. That one also by a 3-0 count. So the Lakers now 4-11 on the season. And they're going to be at home for a pair of games on Friday, as they will take on Wisconsin Parkside, and Saturday at 2. That Friday game at 4 o'clock. And then Saturday at 2. And again, both games will take place during Great Lakes State weekend in the Bud Cooper Gymnasium. The women's tennis team, very successful weekend at home, winning a pair of matches. They started off by beating Saginaw Valley State on Saturday by a 4-3 count. And then they would win on Sunday, beating Northwood for the first time in over 10 years by a 4-3 count. So the Lakers now, they've doubled their win total from last season. They're now 2-3 overall and in conference play, and they're going to be on the road this weekend as they will take on Ferris State on Saturday and close out the weekend at Grand Valley State on Sunday. Algoma University and Soo College both in action on the pitch in soccer. The women's team would drop a pair of games on the road against McMaster, losing 3-0 on Saturday and falling 3-1 on Sunday. Anna Glasgow had the lone goal for Algoma in the loss. Algoma men would pick up a victory. They would lose 8-0 on Saturday, would win by the score of 2-1 on Sunday. Raphael Valentini and Lucas Joel with the goals for Algoma. Soo College teams would split over the weekend at Superior Heights. They would lose 4-2 to Loyalist College on Saturday. And then Soo College would win by the score of 2-1. That for the women's. And for the men, they had one game. They played to a 2-2 tie with Fleming on Sunday. Connor Tate and Aiden McBurney scored for Soo College. And there'll be some matches, I should say this weekend. Algoma U will take on York University at home and Superior Heights, starting with the women's match at 1 and the men playing at 3. And both Soo College teams will be at Cambrian on Saturday. Well, let's look at our broadcast schedule for the week here on our family of networks. It's really getting busy this time of year with all these sports going on locally. We also have, of course, the Detroit Red Wings, the Detroit Lions very soon, the Detroit Pistons. They have their first preseason game tonight at Little Caesars Arena. We're going to have their regular season games right here on ESPN 1400. But let's look at some of the action on our airwaves starting tomorrow night. As I mentioned, the Hockey North show with Randy Russin will be here on ESPN 1400 starting at 5 o'clock, as Randy will get you up to date on everything going on in the junior hockey realm. Laker Hockey Show with Bill Crawford and head coach Damon Witten. Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. right here on ESPN 1400. Also have the Detroit Red Wings over on 1230 WSOO as they will take on Anaheim. That game will start at 7:10. We also have the Game Sports Show with Dave McKeag Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can catch all those shows on our website, thegamesportshow.com. Thursday, also have Detroit Red Wings hockey on 1230 WSOO as the Detroit Red Wings will take on the Montreal Canadiens. I know Tom Coates going to have a vested interest in that one for sure. Pre-game show at 6:40 over on 1230 WSOO. Friday night, busy night. Lots of activities. 4 games on our sister stations, including over at 1230 WSOO. Sioux High, 4-2 on the season in high school football, looking to get that 5th win as they will take on Rogers City. Dave Watson will have the call on 1230 WSOO around 6:40. Over on Oldies 93 with Matt Pocket, our EUP game of the week, as the Cedarville Trojans will take on the Rudyard Bulldogs. And Matt will have the call of that one, as I mentioned, over on Oldies 93 starting at 6:40. Also have Sioux Greyhounds hockey over on Rock 101 with Jerry Liscombe Jr. as the Hounds will be taking on Guelph. Jerry will have the call of that one starting at 7:05. Laker hockey over on Yes FM with Bill Crawford Friday night. Lakers take on Denver. Bill will have the pregame show at 7:05. Saturday, another busy day. Coach's Corner over on 1230 WSOO with Dave Watson at 11:05. Laker hockey on Yes FM with Bill Crawford 6:35 as the Lakers will take on Denver. Greyhounds will continue their road trip at Owen Sound Saturday, 7:05. Jerry Liscombe Jr. will have the call on Rock 101. And finally, over at 1230 WSOO, the Detroit Red Wings will be at home as they will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we'll have the call of that one at 6:40. That's going to do it here for hour 1 of the game, but don't go anywhere. We have a lot more to talk about in the world of sports. We're going to expand it to more of a regional and national sports perspective in hour 2. As our guest is waiting in the wings, Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, who will get us up to date on the Red Wings, the Pistons, Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, and more. And EJ Russell will be joining us around 7:20 for the roundtable. That's all coming up. So we're halfway done. Stick with us for the second hour. You're listening to The Game on ESPN 1400.
Mo at M&C Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? M&C Water Systems proudly distributes natural, artesian water for all your bottled water needs. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. M&C Water Systems delivers to all the local islands, too. Need a water filter? M&C has them. Need a softener? Drinking water system? Want to find out about reverse osmosis? Call Mo at M&C Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern Upper Peninsula for over 25 years.
Looking for the lowest prices and the best deals on quality used cars, trucks, or SUVs? Look no further than Rodenroth Motors. We have the largest selection of quality pre-owned certified vehicles ever, all priced below book, and all come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. It's our way of standing behind what we sell and guaranteeing you that you'll get the highest quality pre-owned vehicle only at Rodenroth Motors. Stop in and check out our largest selection ever, with prices starting at $49.95. I'm sure we'll have something for you. Don't forget to look for the hang tag specials. These units are clearly priced at or near dealer cost. Just another way we can save you even more money. Come see why all roads lead to Rodenroth Motors for Chevy, Buick, and GMC, the #1 volume dealer in the Eastern UP, at the corner of 3 Mile and Mackinac Trail in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. Chevy, find new roads.
O'Connor's Chrysler Dodge Truck and Jeep in Pickford is your full-service dealership, servicing Pickford and the surrounding areas with pride for more than 50 years. O'Connor's top-notch body shop includes a state-of-the-art frame straightener. O'Connor's is also a proud supporter of community events. Its sales team has the experience to know which model is right for each customer. And with financing available to back your purchase, you can drive away today in your dream vehicle. Local people, local pride. Stop in today on M129 at O'Connor's.
Let's get to the second half of the game here on ESPN 1400, WKNW, Sault Ste. Marie's sports leader. It's the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Now, here's Scott Nason.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason broadcasting here from the studios of ESPN 1400 on 3 Mile Road as we are just past 7 o'clock. And we have our next guest waiting in the wings. His name is Butch Davis. You can hear his show, Butch On Sports, on his podcast page, Simply Butch 2. That's TOO.podomatic.com. You can also hear him on our podcast page, thegamesportshow.com, as Butch joins us each and every week to talk about everything that's going on in the world of Detroit sports. Butch, how you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just peachy here.
Well, we are always happy to have you on our airwaves, Butch, and let's start with, happies with the Detroit Red Wings. A big weekend for the Wings, Butch. They win at Nashville on Saturday night by the score of 4-3, and then in the home opener last night, which you attended, Anthony Mantha scored his career-high 4th goal with a little under a minute left to lift the Wings to a 4-3 victory over the Dallas Stars in their home opener to improve to 2-0. Joseph Bernier stopped 19 shots, including some big saves late. Butch, just give us your thoughts of the opening weekend before we get to some audio clips and talk more.
Well, are you available with the audio for Mantha first there?
I will. Do you want to hear that right now?
Yeah, let's hear it right now.
All right, let's try it.
Well, maybe longer than I wanted, but we're here today, and we'll keep it going.
Is it harder this year or more accurate? Is there any difference in the way you're shooting this year?
I think I just have a better mentality of putting pucks on net. I mean, if you look at the first goal, it wasn't the hardest shot. You look at the fourth goal tonight, it wasn't the hardest shot either. It's just pucks on net. That fourth one tipped off a stick and went in, so that's exactly what I need to keep doing.
Butch, Mantha, a big night for him, 4 goals. Tell us about his performance and talk to him after the game. I mean, what a start for Mantha.
Well, Anthony Mantha, he scored a career high. This is very obvious there. 4 goals. Rest of the game winner with like 53 seconds remaining in the game. And Detroit Red Wings won their home opener by the final score of 4-3 there over the Dallas Stars. On a Sunday night, that was late. Everybody got home late, but they left the arena very, very happy. It was to me, a nonchalant game in certain respects, being it's the beginning of the season. A lot of mistakes were made, and a lot of mistakes were not caught. However, the Red Wings will have to proceed in getting things all together there. They have a game tomorrow night, and as well as this weekend with Toronto, and they won't be joking around. That's a national televised game for the Red Wings across the country, and not only there in Canada, so they got to make a good impression. One thing they have to do is they have to command to take care of home, and fans will come. It was not a sellout crowd last night, I'm ashamed to say. However, everybody who showed up got a halfway decent game last night.
Yeah, let's hear from Dylan Larkin, who you also had a chance to interview after the game.
Thing you were talking about before the season began. I mean, coming out of opening weekend 2-0 against two really good teams.
Yeah, and the way we play, the way we responded down 2-0 tonight, back to back. I know they played last night too, but last year or the year before, things could have went sideways fast, and we responded. We knew it took us a little bit to get going, and took us a period to get comfortable and settle down. And great power play goal there to start off in the second, and we didn't back down. So they tied it up 3-3, and we were pressing. We should have won the game sooner, I think. And it speaks to our character. And yeah, I think we're shocking teams, but let's build off this confidence is the message.
Butch, a lot of expectations for Dylan Larkin this season. A good start to the weekend for him, and we're not going to be able to get to the other interviews with the goaltender and Coach Jeff Blashill. But if the Wings drew it up, they didn't win their second game until late October. Can't really complain about their start so far.
You can't complain about their start. You can't complain about the day before when Tyler Bertuzzi, he scored 2 goals and had 2 assists. And Red Wings visiting the Nashville Predators, they're lucky to go happy night. They were celebrating winning their division. And the Red Wings spoiled that particular contest by a score of 5-3 there. Close the game then, the score would indicate, however, it was a pretty doggone good game. Anthony Maffa, he also scored in that game 5 goals already this season, which they also had 2 assists. Dylan Larkins and also Glendenny also chipped in. Jimmy Howard made some pretty good deals there, and you can tell that the defense has to get a little bit better in front of the goaltenders. That's Bernier and Howard included. Some of the goals that were had this past weekend should not have been if the defense was a little bit more in key. Hopefully that will happen sooner than later, but right now the Red Wings are flying with a 2-0 start in the season.
And the Wings will be at home on Tuesday against Anaheim. Butch, let's move on to the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame class of 2019, a star-studded cast including Vladimir Konstantinov, Charles Woodson, Tom Wilson, Allison Schmidt, Morris Peterson Jr., Mike O'Hara, Dan Fife, Diana Dietz, Harry Atkins, and Grant Hill. Lots of familiar names there, Butch.
Well, only thing went wrong is Grant Hill didn't show up.
Come on, Grant.
Maybe next year, maybe whenever you feel like coming back to Detroit to receive it there. But all the others did show up there. Pleasingly very proud. Someone thinking about them, which is the state of Michigan, and the movers and shakers in sports, and this particular ensemble called the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. These were very well-deserving people getting these awards. You get to talk to them before the ceremony begins around about 5 o'clock. And the one that really got was Allison Smith there. She was really pleased as punch there. It was like a dream come true. Charles Wilson and people like Tom Wilson and Mo Pete, they kind of took things in stride. Mike O'Hara was who I worked very closely with in the booth, in the press booth that is there. Very happy with him getting his award there. Harry Atkins as well there, late Ocumber, they carried sports in vicinity for many, many years there. So it was a very good ensemble there. Food was great, and the other amenities there was super as well there.
Butch, let's move on to the Detroit Pistons. They have their first preseason game as we speak at Little Caesars Arena. It's hard to believe it's already NBA season. They're taking on the Orlando Magic, currently having 2-a-day practices. And just give us an idea, when someone says 2-a-day practices, what does that mean to the average sports fan that maybe doesn't know exactly what that entails?
It means you're having practice all day long. You're more or less you're doing a yeoman's type of getting yourself together. A day will last about 10 hours. By the time the team will practice early in the morning, get some breakfast or before then, go through filming, go through some of the basics that they want them to accomplish during this particular season, and then going back on the floor and doing it judiciously in a practice setting there. It doesn't say anything with the game, and tonight will kind of tell a short tale of what the Pistons need to do in order to be successful. One thing the coaches talked about today at the opening of their brand new practice facility, which is officially open today. So no longer we have to go up to Auburn Hills to see the Pistons. We can use a beautiful new practice facility in uptown Detroit, on Grand Boulevard, I should say, in Amsterdam. It's a beautiful place, I understand. I can't wait to get down there myself to look at it, but the time will tell how the Pistons is going to pull up the season. One thing, again, I did not mention that I should mention is that the time that the Pistons spend on the floor, that has to be cut tremendously. That these young athletes they have can waste or wither a season there.
Butch, the Pistons regular season will get started October 23rd at Indiana. You can hear all the games right here on ESPN 1400. And, you look at this lineup, Butch, most of the starting lineup back from last year, but it's really the bench, the second unit that's had really a complete overhaul.
Yeah, well, new names that I can't even pronounce right now. That I'm quite sure throughout the preseason, as watching the Pistons do what they need to do in order to accomplish some consistency, because they had none last year, especially when it came off the bench. The bench was unpotentiable. Every now and then, Ish Smith will come along and boost them up, but that would be it. No one else would show up consistently. So I think Brown will be one of the Pistons, if he does not start, will be the catalyst of that coming off the bench. You still with him. But everybody else is practically brand new, spanking brand new. We haven't talked about Luke Kennard either, who says he's bigger and better this year than he was last year. Talking to a colleague about his particular tour with the Pistons this year. Again, he's a guy who's got to stay away from injuries and got to be a lot more consistent with shooting the ball.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, let's quickly look at college football. A decent weekend for Michigan. They get a win at home with a good defensive effort, 10-3 against Iowa. Michigan State ran into a buzzsaw at Ohio State, losing 34-10. Any thoughts on those two games?
No.
Nothing.
Not at all. Michigan should be glad to win.
Yeah.
Iowa gave them all they could stand, where they couldn't stand no more. The key for Michigan is they played the best offense they played all season long when it came down to moving the ball down the field. And at times they did it with some very good ease. I don't know if they worked on timing or what it may be, but the receivers, Peterson was in sync, especially in the first half. Second half, the running back tandems were getting yardage, kind of making life very easy for Michigan. And the defense, what can you say about them? Although the score to me, it's hard to say that this defense did a yeoman's outstanding job. They did what they had to do in order to get the victory there. The defense did come through.
Butch, we got about 5 minutes left in this segment. I wanted to save a couple minutes for a big week in wrestling, but are there any other sporting information tidbits from Detroit that you want to share before we talk a little wrestling?
I don't know.
Okay, well.
I don't know. The time is near. Once we get about a couple more weeks left for high school football.
Yeah.
Also, volleyball. Before we'll be talking basketball with the high schools about a month and a half from now there. But again, these will be warming up some good games upcoming in the southeastern part of Michigan and also throughout the state. So let's get out there and support our boys and girls there and see some good games there. And I'm quite sure by next week a lot of things will be told as far as who's going to be going to the playoffs.
Yeah, once you get that magical 6-win mark, you'll know a little bit more on the playoffs. Butch, it was a big week for wrestling overall. I had a chance to watch the brand new AEW. I believe they call the show Dynamite now on Wednesday nights, which is going head-to-head with NXT. You have the Fox network showing SmackDown on Friday night. What are your thoughts? Did you have a chance to catch some of the action? And I think it was a really big week for wrestling, especially wrestling fans. There's an alternative now.
Yeah. And that alternative showed up pretty good, too.
Sure did.
They're going to give them a run for their money. We're talking about NXT, which is a pretty doggone good show in its own right. I just think that WWE outthought themselves. And maybe think about maybe moving that on a Tuesday or a Thursday rather than compete against a conglomerate now that is so hot as a firecracker with the wrestlers that they do have in the ring that many don't see or haven't seen. And now they all come together. They're from Japan, from other parts of the world, from Mexico. They've got some very good wrestlers in the AEW, I should say. That was a pretty good show. And also Fox on SmackDown on Fox, which also hard. That was a goodie. Very well done. A lot of surprises. Didn't expect that many. The biggest surprise was at last when my man came on out there, and let's see how far that one goes.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar having no trouble winning the championship belt, which we kind of knew what was coming. But what I liked about the AEW broadcast, it harkens me back to, well, the Monday Night Wars, as it was called back in the late 90s, where you didn't have DVRs. You couldn't, you were flipping between the WWF at the time, now the WWE, and the WCW. And, you look at the announce team that they have, just that, having Tony Schiavone and having Jim Ross on commentary. I mean, I just think that a lot of people like myself, and maybe you can speak to this as far as you, I just think that just having those two guys on the microphone is a big deal.
It is a big deal. They're some of the biggest deals and fine voices in all announcing when it comes down to wrestling there. Schiavone was a big surprise for me.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to come out the wet wash to partake in this there. But you know what? That's a good thing for AEW. In that regard, it took you back because these were the guys you depended on the Wars on Monday night, and also on the weekend when Turner Wrestling was at its peak. You can always depend on Saturday and Sunday, the wrestling weekend for them. Sundays would normally be a repeat performance, but on Saturday nights, live from a studio in Atlanta or maybe in Orlando, you got some pretty good doggone entertainment there.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. You can catch his broadcast of Butch on Sports at Simply Butch2. That's TOO.podomatic.com. You can also find him on our podcast page, thegamesportshow.com, as he joins us each and every week. Butch, before we go to break, what is your week looking like as far as coverage, Butch on Sports, and more?
Well, let's apologize to our fans. We didn't get a podcast yesterday, and we're going to do it in the morning, but the morning got crammed, so we apologize for that. We'll make it an extra special on Wednesday night there, where we go through a whole lot of stuff there, including some high school football that we omitted last Wednesday there, but we got a little taste of it Sunday. We do that, and also rely on the Pistons and the Red Wings. They'll be in town all this week. I'm planning on going down there on Saturday night and seeing the game. We'll see how this goes about here.
Butch, we're going to take a break here. We're going to try to establish contact with E.J. Russell for our roundtable, so stand by. We'll be back in a couple minutes with you.
All right.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the game. We're hoping to be joined by E.J. Russell from Escanaba, Michigan, Butch and myself for our roundtable. You are listening to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You're listening to The Game here on ESPN 1400.
Mo at M&C Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? M&C Water Systems proudly distributes natural, artesian water for all your bottled water needs. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. M&C Water Systems delivers to all the local islands, too. Need a water filter? M&C has them. Need a softener? Drinking water system? Want to find out about reverse osmosis? Call Mo at M&C Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern Upper Peninsula for over 25 years.
Looking for the lowest prices and the best deals on quality used cars, trucks, or SUVs? Look no further than Road & Roth Motors. We have the largest selection of quality pre-owned certified vehicles ever, all priced below book, and all come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. It's our way of standing behind what we sell and guaranteeing you that you'll get the highest quality pre-owned vehicle only at Road & Roth Motors. Stop in and check out our largest selection ever. With prices starting at $49.95, I'm sure we'll have something for you. Don't forget to look for the hang tag specials. These units are clearly priced at or near dealer cost. Just another way we can save you even more money. Come see why all roads lead to Road & Roth Motors for Chevy, Buick, and GMC, the #1 volume dealer in the Eastern UP, at the corner of 3 Mile and Mackinac Trail in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. Chevy, find new roads.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason broadcasting from our studios of ESPN 1400 on 3 Mile Road. We're continued to be joined by Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, and we have established connection with the third of the 4 horsemen of the Game Sports Show. Dave McKeag working tonight. Couldn't make it, but we have EJ Russell joining us from Escanaba, Michigan.
Yo.
EJ, welcome to the game, and thanks for joining us. How you doing on this Monday night, sir?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic because my Cleveland Browns are playing on Monday Night Football again. So let's go, Cleveland Browns. Happy to be here and happy to talk sports with you guys as always.
Well, we're always glad to have you on along with Butch, Dave, and, well, we have our roundtable. This is the part of the show where we freestyle a bit and talk about some topics more of a national sports perspective. Always have regional aspects, sometimes local. So, EJ, you're our newest contributor. You're our newest co-host, so we're going to give you first topic. Butch, I'll give you first crack at EJ's topic. So, EJ Russell from Escanaba, Michigan, the Banana Belt, as Dave Watson would say. What's on your mind in the world of sports tonight?
Well, you guys know me, and everyone that listens to this show knows that I love the National Football League. So with that being said, I want to ask you guys, out of the division leaders as they currently stand, which ones do you think are going to miss the playoffs, and which ones do you think are candidates and contenders to win the Super Bowl?
Butch, I'll go to you first. The Detroit Lions idle this week. They'll be at Green Bay next Monday night. EJ's question, division leaders, what's your thoughts?
Not too much. Not too much of thought here. I'm pondering on that. It's just 1/4 of the season is gone, and you look at what you see. I didn't expect Green Bay to do what they're doing right now. I expect a lot of Chicago Bears and the Vikings more than I did the Lions, but the Lions have surprised me in fact of their record at least being over 500. That is a huge accomplishment. Now, what teams do up to the halfway point, that's going to be a very big mystery indeed there, because many of the teams are going to get buys in proper sense. So they'll get that week off, and then you can see that teams are kind of doing the number from here to the end of the season there. So quite early in predicting. I like the Browns and what they're doing. They're kind of gritty, but again, that particular team is going to polish up and going to be someone that teams cannot stand to be able to play there at the present time. I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens and what they're doing as well there. I think the Oakland Raiders is going to show some people that they do belong in the playoffs, and they're going to make a run. I think their division right now is unsuitable to tie. And when I say San Diego has not shown this being somewhat a very good competitor as well as a trendsetter right now, they should be in first place. And the particular problems they have right now are ongoing. There's no consistency at all. But that's what I see right now in the NFL as far as that's what I look. Nothing fabulous right now.
Butch, I made a comment to my fiance last night before the Kansas City-Indianapolis game talking about, when do you think who's going to be the first team to lose, Kansas City or New England, and when? And I don't think many people had them losing last night. And I'm very intrigued by this Indianapolis team, a team that had a lot of pieces. They're tied with Houston in the AFC South. They put up a boatload of points yesterday in that game. I'm just intrigued by Jacoby Brissett and what he's done with this Indianapolis team, to go into Kansas City and to win there. That's not an easy place to win it. And so that's a division leader that really intrigues me right now. I like what you said about the Raiders, Butch, a big win over in London against the Bears, and they beat another team, a good team in Indianapolis the week before. So John Gruden's obviously got something going there in Oakland. I like what you said about the Ravens and Browns. I think those two are going to go to the wire. Look at Buffalo, a big win on the road at Tennessee. They're 4-1 on the season. Are they going to knock off New England? I don't think so. New England's probably the safest of all the division leaders. That NFC East right now, Dallas and Philly. Dallas has been exposed over the last couple weeks. Philadelphia, they've been there before. Who knows what's going to happen in the NFC North? You got to like Green Bay and what they're doing, but there's a lot of good teams in that division right now. Teddy Bridgewater and the Saints. Again, another great story. Obviously, they got a lot of weapons in New Orleans on the offensive end with Kamara, Thomas having a big game yesterday. And you're going to have Breeze back at some point during the season and, in that NFC South. And then you got the NFC West. I think this is maybe the most confusing division as far as which of these three teams potentially could win it. San Francisco, we're going to find out a lot about them tonight as they take on Cleveland. Seattle, when they play a night game at home, they win almost all the time. And then the Rams right now, I think one of the biggest question marks as far as how good is this team? Can this team get back to the Super Bowl? After 5 weeks, I'd say no. But like Butch said, EJ, it's early. But those are my thoughts on, where we are after, or almost after, Week 5. EJ, I know you got a lot to say, so what are your thoughts on your own topic, sir?
Well, Scott, I think that you're politely saying mistaken that New England's the safest pick to go into the playoffs. I think that the safest pick is the New Orleans Saints. And I justify that thought by the fact that they've been succeeding with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. This is a guy that yesterday, I believe it was at one point in the game, was 11 for 11. Okay? And that's not a number that you typically get to without error. And I think that he's doing a great job of holding down that lineup right now. This is a team that is significantly better when Drew Brees is at the helm. You will see Alvin Kamara get far more receptions under Drew Brees because Drew Brees, I think, has a better understanding of the system. Not to say that Teddy Bridgewater doesn't, but I think that Teddy's doing a great job right now of manning the helm, understanding when to expose weakness. This is a guy that was a starter for the Minnesota Vikings. Him and his two gloved hands are more than capable backup, and I think that he's the best backup in the league right now, but I don't think that going forward, this is a guy that you're going to see continue to sit behind Drew Brees, and if he does, that tells you a lot about what they think of Teddy Bridgewater. And if he does continue to sit back there, that's going to tell you that he's better than what you have him. So I think that the New Orleans Saints is the safest pick out of the division leaders to make it into the playoffs. I think that the worst division leader right now is the San Francisco 49ers. I think that tonight's story, win or loss against the Cleveland Browns, is going to tell you a lot about them. Cleveland Browns, unbiased opinion here, and just talking about facts. They do have a great defense. They have one of the most capable offenses in this league, running behind a guy named Nick Chubb, who ran for 3 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens, who have been extremely well known for their defense. I think that the San Francisco 49ers have a lot to prove. I think the Seattle Seahawks are the class of that division. I think the Rams are underperforming, and now they're going to miss Clay Matthews for a few weeks. I don't see them pulling off a repeat. As far as the safest division winners go, I got to give it to the Kansas City Chiefs. They got a guy named Patrick Mahomes there. We all know about him. This was a guy that coming into this week was still on pace or close to throwing a 6,000-yard and 50-touchdown season. I don't think he's going to replicate that. No quarterback's ever replicated a 50-touchdown season. The other 2 guys are guys named Tom Brady, and I believe the other is Peyton Manning. Okay, this just doesn't happen, the 50-touchdown games. So I don't see him replicating that. I see Patrick Mahomes still being a major impact. I think that the Indianapolis Colts, we learned a lot about them this week in going out and finding a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. But I think the safest team to bet on right now is the New Orleans Saints. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are another safe team. But if I had to bet on the team that's not a for sure, got to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Butch, let's go to you for your topic on the roundtable. I'll take first crack and then give it to EJ. So Butch Davis at the bottom of the hour here at 7:30 on a Monday night. What's on your mind in the world of sports, sir?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd pick up something stupid tonight here.
Okay.
Lately in the NFL, you have seen players get fined. And not fined because they acted crazy in the game or whatever, which we already expect is going to be there, but getting fined for jewelry on their neck, watches on their arms, etc. Do you think the NFL is going too far in fining players? Roethlisberger is a fine example of this particular there. He's fined for wearing a watch on his arm there. Apple Watch, I'll make it clear, because they do some fantastic things here. What is the NFL trying to prove?
Butch, I think it is ridiculous, some of these fines that we have seen. Odell Beckham Jr. is the one that comes to mind for Cleveland for the watch, the Apple Watch, the Swatch. I don't even know what it was, but it was a very expensive watch that he was wearing. And the NFL has bigger issues as far as some of the things going on in the field. And I'm going to swerve a little bit because, again, I think that's ridiculous. But what I think is just becoming more and more ridiculous are some of these roughing the passer calls that we have seen. I mean, it's getting to the point now. I think I saw one, I don't even know which game it was, there where a guy's hand hit the helmet. It was literally almost like a high five, and he gets a penalty. And the NFL really needs to start worrying more about how they handle those type of calls. Is it a reviewable type of call than to worry about if somebody's wearing a Swatch watch or wearing a crucifix over his neck or a diamond earring or such. I think it's ridiculous that they have that much time on their hands to levy fines against players because they wear a wrong watch that isn't acceptable to the NFL. So I think it's ridiculous. And to make a long story short, the NFL has a lot more things they should be worried about on the field that I've seen, at least at the start of this season. EJ? A great topic, one that I didn't expect, but a good one. What are your thoughts on Butch's topic?
Well, and I want to start by specifically addressing the Ben Roethlisberger situation. There is a rule in the NFL that states that you cannot have electronic communications on the sideline, and the Apple Watch does give the ability to send text messages, receive text messages, make and take calls. So I think that the fine there was appropriate. I don't think that that's something that we need to look further into. Yes, simply stated, like you said, Butch, it is a watch, but this is a watch that doesn't just tell time, okay? This is a watch that, if competitive enough, can be taken advantage of in multiple ways. So I have no issue against the Ben Roethlisberger fine. But I will say that I do have issue with some of what I feel is pettiness in NFL fines as of late. And I think that the NFL is really trying hard to clean up their image. And I think that that's something that we need to take into consideration. I'm not supporting the league in this comment. I'm not going against the league in this comment. What I am saying is that this is a league that has always been focused on protecting the shield. And I think that they're trying their best to find a way to keep the professional game as pure as they can. And I think that whether we like it or not, that these owners are doing the best that they can. In regards to hits on the quarterback and those kind of fines, again, I believe that the league is doing the best that they can, and I'm not saying that statement in support or against the league. But the number one topic that I was asked about at work today was specifically the hit against Mason Rudolph. And is that a fine? Is that a suspension? Should it be this? Should it be that? And I think that part of the argument needs to be what we focus on, which is what is a good hit? What is legal play in this league? And I think that that's been the biggest issue. I'll kind of parlay this away from fines and saying that my issue with the league right now is not so much their right to fine players. I think that that's pretty sound in the legal sense that finable actions are finable and what isn't. And I think that the league reserves the right as the governing body, very much like an organization that I came against last week, which is the NCAA. Whether or not we agree with them, that is their right to attempt to protect the shield. But I think that what we need to talk about right now is what level of play is acceptable, what level of hits are acceptable. You saw multiple times in the Green Bay game, as well as multiple times in other games, where players started to lift up on their hits against the quarterback, and you could tell it was because they were worried about receiving penalties and or fines. I think we need to, and that's why I want to go to the Mason Rudolph hit, we need to figure out what is and isn't intentional and really do a better job of figuring out what should be finable, what isn't finable, because a lot of people that I've talked to today actually had a lot of problems with the hit on Mason Rudolph and saying that, he came up. Earl Thomas was making a football play, and he was engaging in that hit before Mason Rudolph turned his body with his throw in order to get into that situation, which made him unconscious. And that dude didn't know what day of the week it was. And football is played on Sundays. I mean, he had no clue who he was. But I don't think that Earl Thomas made a foul play. I thought that the hit was acceptable. I thought that the way that he approached the hit was acceptable. He didn't go for his lower section. He didn't go for his midsection. So as much as, and I'll try to simplify here as my time's wrapping up, I don't think that my issue is necessarily the league's right to fine somebody. I think that they reserve that right. But the part that I think that the league needs to address right now is what is and isn't football? What is and isn't a legal hit? And I think we need to more clearly attempt to define what that is, because I've seen too many players this season pull up from hitting the quarterback because they were afraid to make a hit. I get that you want points, but people want to see aggressive play. And the National Football League is supposed to be a sport that it gives you the best of both worlds.
Butch, great topic. Your thoughts on your own topic, sir?
I have a lot of stuff. Let me first and foremost get to the subject matter here. And I talked about some of the fine jewelry and accessories that the NFL was finding players for. And Ben Roethlisberger was part of the Pittsburgh Steelers with headphones and everything else on. And he did have a watch. It is a clause on the electronic issues there that's supposed to be adhered by the player. And that's fine. But to go out here and make it all this public, like it was bad. The Odell Beckham is another one. That was a fine watch. If he was going to use that watch to telegraph the quarterback where he would be, and he was going to go off a play or something, I can dig it.
Sure.
And he's getting fined. Players been wearing chains, garments, and all this other stuff under their clothes for years. And, don't hear nothing about this. I've seen chains on players that they swing the wrong way or knock them out conscious, and nothing is said. So that's maybe the problem I have with this particular rule there. Also with the earrings, there's some players who still wearing earrings. Now in football, you're not supposed to. Those are supposed to come off. But still, there are players out there, and I don't hear about them getting fined. Plain simple. That's where I went with this particular subject here. Now, we heard some sidewinding here, and I tell you this here. This is a violent game. It will always be a violent game to a certain standpoint versus the world looking upon this particular. And you can't get away from hitting or whatever it may be. The biggest facet in this game so far in football is money, not the shield. If the shield was so doggone sacred, a whole heck of a lot of little things would have been taken care of without the NFL going to court. And I don't even want to get to that one because I already self-explanatory of what the NFL has been through with their wrongdoing or non-aggressive or this goody two-shoe type of organization that they can do nothing wrong. Like any other organization, when you pick up organizations like the Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, and even down to the NBA, that has its cracks and crevices in there. But you don't see what you see in the National Football League on an ongoing basis. Players just don't respect and would never probably respect the shield. They're respecting the money facet in there, and that's why a whole lot of these players are not going to have careers. So they feel they have to do something in order to gain some type of attention. Now, for that saying there, that's where the game is screwy. And I think attention has to be looked at that point, first and foremost. You know, those hits are coached by coaches. So you can't always look at a player when these hits are being taken. These players are being coached that way. And I'm not going to say no player just obviously want to kill somebody out on the field. They're being coached that way in practice and everything else until the NFL or the get their little thing together and look at how they're being coached. And that's not only in pros. That's in college, that's in high school, and a lot of pee-wee if you get around. That's the way they're being coached. So for all of that to stop, the coach is going to have a better understanding of what not to have in their camp. And if a player can't stop it, then that player got to go. There's the process of elimination right there. It's not worth a team that depends on a player to do all that great stuff and still can't get the silly stuff taken care of. That's, you know, those winning teams, you look at New England, every year they got a slew of players new coming in every single year, and still they succeed. Because there's a bar already set, and you can't deal with it, you got to go.
Gentlemen, let's take a break here in hour two, our final break for our roundtable. We come back, I'm going to throw out baseball playoffs. We haven't talked a lot about baseball, being because the teams that we follow aren't in it, but playoffs going on right now. I want to get your thoughts on the postseason so far and what you see ahead. That's coming up on The Game here on ESPN 1400.
Well, it's now officially fall, and if you'd like to kill two birds with one stone... Wait, that was just an expression. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can make some extra money by cleaning up around your home, garage, and yard. Gather your scrap metal and bring it to Reed Metals. Reed Metals pays $50 for a full, large General Motors catalytic converter and $6 per average car battery and $12 per semi-battery. Bring in scrap vehicles or any other recyclable metals, and they'll print you a check. Reed Metals, the honest, one-stop metal recycling business. Visit reedmetals.com or call 906-6 632-0018. Reed Metals, 13 miles south of the Soo on Mackinac Trail. Reed Metals is only minutes away from helping you make money before the summer ends. No birds were harmed during this production, nor were any actual stones thrown. You want more from a compact or utility tractor, and at Skinner's of Pickford, you'll find more. More of the newest Massey Ferguson tractors, offering more versatility, more durability, and more performance. Stop by today and find out how Massey Ferguson is expanding the possibilities of what a great tractor can be, and why a Massey Ferguson will be the last tractor you'll ever need. Come see the Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You wanted a small tractor with a mid-PTO for more versatility. Massey Ferguson responded by bringing back a versatile workhorse, the Massey Ferguson 1526 Compact Tractor, now available at Skinner's of Pickford. A tractor that can do more because it's made to handle more. As hardworking and no-nonsense as you are. See it today at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north.
Life is busy. Get out and enjoy the fun. Whether that means a block party with the neighborhood or tailgating with the gang, the Honda EU 2200i has you covered. Besides being lightweight and durable, Honda portable generators are extremely quiet and can run for hours and hours. The Honda EU 2200i now has 200 watts more power with models up to 4,400 watts. You'll love the fuel efficiency and reliability of your new Honda generator. Go to Honda.com or, better yet, visit Lead Sports Center on the I-75 Business Spur and learn firsthand all the ways you can put a Honda generator to work for you. Honda, it's power you can trust.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. Also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason along with EJ Russell and Butch Davis on hour 2 of the roundtable. Now, for those that maybe missed the broadcast tonight, locally or online, or want to hear the full show, you can find it usually around 9 o'clock on Monday nights. We post it to a couple places, thegamesportshow.com, or go directly to the podcast page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com. There you can find all issues or editions, I should say, of the game here on ESPN 1400, also with Dave McKagan, Soo Ontario, Butch On Sports with Butch Davis, along with our broadcasts of Soo Eagles hockey and selected high school broadcast, all at thegamesportshow.com. We continue with the roundtable. I will go first and then go to EJ Russell for his thoughts, and then Butch. We're talking Major League Baseball playoffs. We haven't really talked about that too much over the last couple weeks with everything going on, as all 4 series going on today. Earlier today, Tampa staved off elimination with a 10-3 win over Houston. The Astros lead that series 2-1. Game 4 will be in Tampa tomorrow afternoon at 4:15. St. Louis beats Atlanta 5-4 to stave off elimination in 10 innings. That series tied at 2. Game 5 will be in Atlanta Wednesday at 5 o'clock. You also have the Dodgers and Nationals playing right now. The Dodgers are tied with Washington 1-1. They lead that series 2-1 after that big win last night. And later on tonight, the Minnesota Twins and New York Yankees all over the Twins in that one, leading 2-0. EJ, I'll go to you first. No Indians, obviously no Tigers. What are your thoughts so far on the Major League Baseball playoffs, and who do you see possibly making it to and winning the World Series?
Well, Major League Baseball playoffs are terrible without my Indians. I just want to add that. But no, all jokes aside here, I think the Twins-Yankees series is really surprising me. Minnesota Twins are a team that hit more home runs in baseball than any other team in the history of this league. And the Yankees are very much a power-hitting team. Yes, they have the pitching support. I see Minnesota taking the game tonight. I really don't see how they can lose this game tonight. I think the Astros-Rays, we can put a bow on that. I understand that, yes, Tampa Bay won 10-3 today. But Houston's got 2 guys that are Cy Young candidates, okay? So you're not going to beat them in a shortened series. You want to talk league championship series? Okay, now we're talking about in the divisional series, Houston ain't losing that. The Dodgers Nationals, I think Dodgers walk away with that. I think they're way too powerful in their lineup. I just don't see how you can calm down Cody Bellinger and crew enough to make a difference there. And this is a team that's made significant runs each of the last 4 seasons. I think this is the team that is on the cusp of winning their first World Series in however many years it's been. I think that the series that really does interest me the most is Braves-Cardinals. That's side 2-2. Cardinals put some money into Paul Goldschmidt. Cardinals are a team that have, for a small market team, been very successful in producing championships and producing great players. But I think that Atlanta is on a run, that this is their first, what I would consider, significant run since the 90s, in which they had David Justice, Greg Maddux, John Schmaltz, blah, 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 blah. I mean, keep going on and on and on. That 90s Atlanta team, those teams were some of the greatest teams that you have probably ever seen come out of the National League in regards of pitching and hitting, in one of the most complete teams. So I think that Robert Acuna Jr. And the Atlanta Braves will find a way to win that series. I think the Cardinals have gotten a little bit complacent in being a perennial powerhouse in that NL Central division. I think it's time for the Atlanta Braves to take back their throne. I have right now an Atlanta Braves versus New York Yankees World Series. The only reason that I say that is because I think that the Yankees have enough slugging in their lineup to get around 2 games against the Houston Astros. I think that between Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander, the Houston Astros have the most dominant starting rotation. But once you get outside of that, I think the Yankees have the ability to continue to hit the ball well. So right now I have a Braves-Yankees matchup, and I want to root for the Braves because I very much appreciate the way that Acuna plays baseball. And that's me coming at it as a fan and I'm an analyst. But I think that the Astros, as far as analytics go, make the most sense because they do have such dominant pitching. But I think that you'll see a Yankees-Braves World Series coming October.
Butch, let's go to you for your thoughts on Major League Baseball playoffs, sir.
Oh, God. Here we go. Well, not too much. I've seen some exciting baseball, some comebackers there. The teams that I thought would do a lot better are not in it. Oakland would surprise me, but again, they got their rear end kicked in one game. Tampa Bay, don't put them out of the wet wash there. Many teams have done that all season long, and they're still hanging on. And they have an attitude, I got nothing to lose there. So with the Houston, Tampa Bay particular there, I'm going to watch that very carefully. Atlanta and St. Louis, that's going to go down to the wire, and it will be a game in Atlanta tomorrow, Wednesday, I do believe there. We'll find out who's who and what's what in that. I don't believe the winner's going to come out that bracket, though. I think the Dodgers and Washington out of that bracket is going to be the winner of the world and go to the World Series. Those 2 teams, to me, are the best in the National League. In the American League, though, the Yankees, I like to pick the Yankees in this particular there. And we'll just say, I'm giving the edge to Houston, but Tampa Bay's going to make them run the table.
Butch, can I ask you a quick question?
What's that?
Okay, what do you think, because you said you think the winner of the Dodgers National Series is going to go to the World Series. So do you think it's the strength of the Dodgers hitting or the strength of Washington's pitching that leads them to the championship?
I just think it's both could be common denominators there, EJ. I like the Dodgers veteran savvy right now. They've been there before. They have made some mistakes in the past where they didn't get to the dance, and we're saying the same thing now about the Dodgers. And they had the same type of attack system in those particular years too. It's just, I think the veteran portion of it was going to wear off, where basically they may beat the crap out of Washington. Now, on the other hand, Washington's a team, again, I got nothing to lose. And one of the things that I think is a very big common denominator there is Harper leaving there. What would this team be if Harper was still there?
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Better team, or with the particular young kids that they had developing and now playing for them, the team they got about the same amount of mileage out of those particulars, but again, a lot more mileage because, again, of the ability of getting on base. That was higher than Harper was there. But, there's a lot of arguments you can make on that particular, but I just like the Dodgers because the veteran particular is going to show on out there, and that will probably, if they win the series, that's what's going to show up.
Yeah, I agree with you, Butch. I think the Dodgers out of the National League are probably the team that's going to get back there again. Will they win it? I don't think so. I just think, and I agree with what EJ said, I think Tampa's going to give Houston a good run. They may even take it to 5 games, but boy, this Houston team in a 7-game series, I just have a hard time seeing anybody beat them right now. I mean, they do everything right. They got one of the best 1-2 punches on the mound. They got a good bullpen. They have a good offense. They have decent defense. And they got a team that's been there before and knows how to win. So I really think it's the Dodgers and Houston. Atlanta down the road, I think, may have a good shot. I don't think it's this year. And Minnesota, they need to break that losing streak in the playoffs. They're getting in Pistons territory right now. Let's get to our thumbs up and thumbs down, gentlemen, for the week. I will start. Thumbs up, a local thumbs up here. I had a chance yesterday to umpire softball. Yes, in early October, softball is played here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. The Lake Superior State University Lakers now have a club softball team. It was a varsity sport a few years ago. Unfortunately, for that program, they are no longer a varsity sport. But I want to give a thumbs up to their manager, Linda Beauvais, and that's a very familiar name around these parts. Linda has been involved with youth softball and just softball in general for I don't know how many years, but she does a great job. She volunteered so much of her time for the program of softball in Sault Ste. Marie, which really didn't exist too much before she started it, and she just put in a lot of dedication. She's always up there at the field, taking care of it, putting in her time, and so I want to give her a thumbs up there. It was a great game. The Lakers played Saginaw Valley State. Everybody was happy. Might have been 1 or 2 calls maybe that were not the best, but hey, it was a lot of fun, and thank you, Linda, for having the opportunity to host and umpire those games. And my thumbs down to Michigan State, Ohio State Saturday night. That's all I'm going to say, because EJ and I
say what?
had a wager on it. The Spartans did not won? The Ohio State, and so I will be wearing.
I won.
You won. I will be wearing my Buckeye attire the week they play Michigan and the week they beat down Michigan again. EJ Russell, your thumbs up and thumbs down, please.
Thumbs up for the weekend sports. I have to say that I met a local legend, and I won't repeat the guy's name as it involves business at work. However, he is one of the original Rat Pack guys at St. John's University in Minnesota. And this is a guy that is what he calls a crowd motivator for Escanaba football. I had the pleasure of meeting this guy and talking to him today about his fan experiences and what he does for the local community as far as sports goes, as well as the university he attended. So I'm going to say thumbs up to the original Rat Pack member of St. John's University in Minnesota. Thumbs down for the week. I got to give to the NFL and these hits that are on the quarterback. I think we need to be able to allow these players to play football. I'm not saying let's kill each other. Please don't do that. But yes, we have to protect player safety, but we have to still be able to play football. And I think that there were a few hits that I saw this weekend that should have happened that didn't, that would have really affected the game. So thumbs down to NFL and hitting the quarterback. Thumbs up to the original St. John's University in Minnesota Rat Pack member.
Butch, we got about a minute. Your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
I got a minute. I should have a whole hour here, my golly. I tell you. Let me give first and foremost a thumbs up to Lincoln Park Middle School. And some of my fans knew that the governor was supposed to make a visit there along with Jake the Body Steinfeld there, the actor, bodybuilder and all. They had a thing going on this past Thursday. The governor didn't show up by golly, but
Gretchen.
Jake did there, and it was a big little hoopla there with all the kids who basically took part in that, about 1,200 kids. The weight room in a middle school is worth over $2 million there worth of equipment and stuff there. And my office is right in there. So if information for Lincoln Park Middle School on that one. My thumbs down is going to go to no more than nobody. Okay, I'll give everybody a break this week here, and we'll, if you deserve a thumbs down, you'll get one.
Butch, EJ, thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the game. We also want to thank our guest, Herb Maloney from Soo Football. That's going to do it for this week's edition. We'll talk to you next Monday night right here on ESPN 1400.